Yes, my YouTube rite of passage is finally here. So it's my turn to do the review on the Aldi Ferrex Bandsaw. I'm going to show you the unboxing, the setting up, the adjusting, how I got on with it, and how good it is at cutting something that bandsaws are used for every day of the week, but I bet you've never seen on a woodwork video. It's November and today Aldi put back into their special buys the Ferrex bandsaw for £150. Now I bought this one exactly 12 months ago, so let's go back in time to see what it looked like when I unboxed it. Whoa! Wow, going back in time has never been so much fun. So a number of months earlier when I first opened this box, I've already had this a couple of months, but I've actually been moving house, so it's been stored in the corner. Now I think it's time to open it and see what we've got inside. Oh, actually, the box has been sitting in my garage so long I can feel that it's sort of damp and a bit soft. So, what have we got? User's manual. The first thing I see is the blade, and it actually looks really short and small. Is that big enough? This looks like a guide, some bits and bobs, there's a screwdriver and a couple of spanners, mitre gauge type thing, a knob and a sliding plate. So the main unit here is fairly beefy. Wow, my first bandsaw. Okay, cool. It's fairly nice. Oh. So the first thing I notice is it's actually got a blade already fitted. So the one that I saw in the box is a replacement blade, which is nice of them. This is a 10-inch all-metal bandsaw that has a maximum cut height of around 5 inches or 125 millimeters. It takes a 1785 millimeter or a 1790 millimeter blade. Either can be fitted to the machine up to ½ inch in width and comes with a 550 watt induction motor. So I might as well use the little screwdriver they give you. That means I own another rubbish screwdriver. Add to my collection. What's in here? Let's have a... Oh, one in one direction and one in the other. So that's the top drive wheel with the tension in on the top. The brushes to dust the sawdust off. There's the drive wheel and the drive belt. The saw can run at 2 speeds depending on what pulley you fit the drive belt onto, but I must admit so far I've just left it on the slower one that it came fitted with. So my first impressions are positive. I think before I go any further though, I need to read the instructions, get it put together and get it adjusted. The user manual I found okay to understand, and for assembly you just have to run through it in the order that they tell you, which is fitting the table and adjusting it to get it square to the blade, which is easily done with a simple threaded rubber foot on the underside and a locking nut. And then screwing on the upper dust extractor fitting and sliding on the table extension plate and securing it with 2 bolts which just stop it coming off when you open it fully. That's it for the assembly, so now on to the adjustment of the blade, which is a combination of tracking, which is easily done with a knob at the back of the machine, and tensioning the blade to a tension that feels like it's just about to snap. Only once this is done can you set the guide roller bearings. These give strength to the blade, both left and right, and from the rear, when pushing material through the saw. In theory, they should be set close to, but not touching the blade, which I found easier said than done. Set in mine, I ended up being happy with slightly touching, but not pushing the blade, which worked okay for me. The lower guides are a bit more awkward to get to and use an Allen key instead, but still possible. Lastly, the fence can be clipped on, which I must admit I really like because it moves easily and it clamps down straight and tight every time. It also comes with a mitre fence, which although has a little bit of play left and right, hasn't affected any of my cuts. So that was about 30 or 40 minutes to get everything assembled, everything connected, to get all the bearings adjusted top and bottom, get the blade running centrally as well. The only thing the instruction manual wasn't very good at was telling me about the tension of the blade. So I think I've got it to the right tension, but I need to understand a little bit more about blade tensioning before I use this in anger. So I think I'm ready for the first cut. So I'm just going to cut a small piece of ply. Let's see what happens. Okay. Sounds reasonably smooth. My first cut here is a good example of where I keep forgetting to lower the blade guide, which doesn't help cut accuracy at all. Okay, so first impressions are that that is quite a nice clean cut. Obviously the blade is brand new, so I'd expect it to be fairly spot on. But obviously working along the fence, it was nice and straight. Very little evidence of bandsaw blade, but if you wanted to just run a bit of sandpaper over that, that would be very good. So I'm happy with that. So back to the present day. That film where you saw me unboxing and setting it up, I filmed back in February, so that was 10 months ago now. So I've had 10 months of projects to use this on and off to get to know it. And I must admit, I'm really glad I took the plunge when I did and bought it. I'm lucky enough to have a workshop big enough to have this set up in the corner full time, which has made it really easy just to walk over to it, turn it on, use it for a few seconds and then turn it off. I think I've used it a lot more because of that. Now with regards to the projects I've used it on, mainly I've been cutting softwood, ply and MDF. As you can imagine, mainly because these are the sort of materials that I use the most. I've used it quite a lot on the mortise and tenon joints that I've constructed within doors and structures. And although I didn't get it on camera, I also used it to cut hundreds of strips of expanded polystyrene insulation for the core of my workshop door, which was a really quick way of cutting lots of strips to exactly the same width. Yes, I could have used a table saw, but I don't own one. I don't know if I mentioned to you that before. The other thing I did at one point was to fix this ply top on the top of the table. This was for the concrete top of my barbecue build, where I was cutting a void former at a bevel angle and I wanted it absolutely circular. So the dense polythene I trimmed up as close as I could to the line, then screwed the centre point onto the table in the middle of this ply, which meant I could cut an exactly circular former. And more recently, I've used it on the build of this toy rainbow for one of the children in the family. Now this is 3 sheets of 3/4 inch hardwood ply glued together and then cut out with the bandsaw. And I must admit, it's done a really good job of following that line closely and keeping a nice 90-degree cut. There's no way that I would have been able to cut that with anything else, especially not a jigsaw, through that sort of thickness. I really pushed it to the limit for this inner core. This is about 40 mil or just over 1.5 inches, and that's about as tight a radius as you can possibly get using a 1/4 inch blade. Now talking about blades, a 1/4 inch blade that it comes supplied with, I must admit, I've not had any problems with, as long as I remember to set the blade guide to the right height just above the workpiece, which I tend to forget every now and again, which means it's got a tendency to wander. Now with regard to the 1/4 inch blade, the 1/4 inch blade is good for tight radiuses and sort of general work, but the downside to it is that if you want a nice straight line, the 1/4 inch blade does have more of a tendency to wander. So I've actually purchased a 1/2 inch blade, which is better for the straight cuts. And I'm now going to show you how to swap a 1/4 inch blade for a 1/2 inch blade. While I'm fiddling about removing the homemade top, this is a good time to tell you that this video is being sponsored by ITS for all the tools you need. Now, ITS have just released their 4th week of Black Friday sale deals. That means that they've got 4 weeks of deals now running in their biggest ever sale across all categories such as electrical, decorating, gardening, and of course hand and power tools. Last week I went and visited their distribution centre, which is a massive bustling warehouse which stocks just about everything you can think of for the DIY woodworker and trade. It was obvious to me that many of their Black Friday deals are literally flying off the shelves, so if you see something you're after, I would highly recommend not thinking about it for too long, as some of the stocks are limited. And with the ITS price promise, they refuse to be beaten on price by Toolstation and Screwfix. With next day delivery, what's on these shelves can be with you tomorrow if ordered by 7 p.m. And if it's your first order over £60, make sure you put in the code PROPERDIY and you'll receive this free £30 goodie bundle as well. Anyway, let's get on and finish changing this blade. To exchange blades, only the table extension needs to be removed and the table alignment bolt. Then it's as simple as detensioning the blade and using gloves, just pulling it out. The new blade fits in easily, and once the tracking and tension is adjusted, then the bearing guides can be adjusted as before. Any guides that do touch the blade and spin, I just check that they're easy to stop, which tells me they aren't putting any pressure on the blade. Okay, so I'm happy with that. It seems to be running smooth, there's no vibration at all. So just before I show you how that 1/2-inch blade cuts, just like to show you how to roll one of these blades. This is something I've learned recently. If you hold it like this and with your top hand you just rotate 360 degrees, it just generally springs into 3 different circles. So a couple of ties on there keeps everything nice and secure. Okay, let's cut a few things with this 1/2-inch blade. So with the combination of the bigger blade and the nice fence, I find it very easy to get straight, accurate cuts. So in summary, I think it's a great piece of kit for the DIYer or woodwork hobbyist. It's not perfect and it's not huge, but equally it's not £300, £400 or £500 either. So for me, at £150, I now have a fully functioning bandsaw in my workshop that I can use successfully and regularly and gives me accurate cuts, and for that I can easily justify that type of cost. Well, I think that's quite a nice cut. So I've got just one more thing to trial through this blade. And as I said at the beginning, this isn't something you normally see on woodwork videos, but you have to remember, bandsaws are not only used by woodworkers. In fact, most of them are actually used in the food industry. So you'll find them in near enough every supermarket and every butcher shop. So until next week, I'll see you then. Son of a butcher, you see.